Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are not just reading a story. We are looking up. We're looking at the sky.
We are.
Because across the entire continent of Westeros, from the frozen wall in the north to, the smoking vents of Dragonstone in the sea, there's one single thing that everyone is watching.
The Red Messenger.
The Great Comet. And honestly, the descriptions of this thing in the texts are so visceral. It's not just a star. It's described as a red slash, a wound in the pink and purple sky.
It bleeds. It bleeds across the dawn.
Yes. It feels like the perfect visual metaphor for where we are right now in the narrative.
It really is. It's an aggressive image. And if you think about the state of the realm as we enter this deep dive into the opening of A Clash of Kings, everything is aggressive.
Right.
The long summer is officially over.
Right.
We get that white raven from the Citadel in the prologue, which is the official signal.
Winter is coming. For real this time.
For real. And the political stability, that's completely gone.
Oh, it's fractured beyond belief. Just look at the board. King Robert Baratheon is dead. Lord Eddard Stark has been beheaded, which is still such a raw wound for anyone following this story at this point.
It really is.
And the War of the Five Kings is, for all intents and purposes, underway. Even if, not all five of them have formally declared yet.
Right. They haven't all printed their business cards, but the conflict is on. And our mission today is to analyze these opening moves. But we aren't just looking at a map of troop movements.
No.
We have this incredible stack of sources here. Narratives from Dragonstone, King's Landing, Winterfell, the Riverlands, the Wall, the King's Road. We get to see it all.
And we want to look at how different factions are interpreting the exact same reality. Because that's really what this is all about, right? The subjectivity of truth in a time of absolute chaos.
It is. It's about narrative. Who controls the story of what's happening?
So let's start with that comment. It's basically the Rorschach test of Westeros, isn't it? It just hangs there over everyone, and nobody can agree on what it means.
It's a massive confirmation bias test on a continental scale. That's the perfect way to put it. It's not just that they see what they want to see.
No, it's more than that.
It's that the comet validates their next political move. It's the universe giving them permission, a divine green light to do what they already wanted to do anyway.
Okay, let's break that down then. Let's start on Dragonstone. You have Maester Cresson. He's our prologue POV, this old, frail man. What does he see when he looks up?
Cresson is interesting because he represents the old order. He represents science, logic, the Citadel. To him, comets are just celestial events, dust and ice and rock.
Right, he tries to be rational.
He tries so hard, but he can't deny the feel of it. He sees it as an omen of blood and murder. He tries to reject omens, but the sheer overwhelming redness of it just terrifies him.
It's like his gut instinct is screaming at him, and it's louder than his education.
It is. It feels like a direct threat to the rationality he spent, 80 years cultivating?
But then you have the complete flip side right there on the same island. Lady Celeste and the Red Woman, Melisandre, they look at the exact same red streak in the sky.
And they see a winning lottery ticket. They see their banner.
King Stannis' comet.
Exactly. Lady Celeste calls it that explicitly. She says it represents the red, fiery heart of the Lord of Light. Melisandre goes even further. She calls it dragon's breath.
Which is such a powerful image.
It is. And think about the psychology there. If you are launching a rebellion that is, frankly, unpopular, with a very small army, and a giant red flag just appears in the sky for everyone to see.
You seize that narrative. You have to.
You absolutely have to. You point up and you say, look, God agrees with us. The heavens are on our side.
Which is just so ironic because if you jump over to King's Landing, the people around Joffrey are saying the exact same thing, but for their king.
That's the beautiful absurdity of it all. The court spins it as King Joffrey's comet. They see the crimson colors for House Lannister.
Of course they do.
Or they call it the dragon's tail, which is meant to symbolize Joffrey sitting on the Iron Throne, the seat of Aegon the Dragon. It's meant to represent his triumph over his enemies. It's just pure propaganda.
But there's a dissenting voice there, and I love this little detail. It's Sansa Stark. She's trapped, she's terrified, she's a prisoner, but she's thinking.
Sansa is becoming so much more observant than people give her credit for in these early books. She's watching this, she's listening to all this propaganda, and she's thinking, wait a minute.
This doesn't add up.
Exactly. Joffrey is technically a Baratheon. His sigil is the black stag on a field of gold. So she thinks, if the gods were really honoring him, shouldn't the comet be golden? Or black? Why red?
She's spotting the plot holes in the Lannister narrative.
She is. She's questioning why the gods would fly a banner that doesn't even match the king's colors. It shows she's not just a passive victim here. She's actively analyzing the inconsistencies of the world that's been built around her.
Okay, so let's go north, because the interpretations up there get much, much darker. At Winterfell, you have the servants and Mr. Lewin trying to be rational.
Lumen does the maester thing. It's just a rock. It has no meaning. The servants have their superstitions. The dire wolves think it's the moon or something.
But Osha the wildling doesn't play that game.
Osha cuts right through all the superstition and the politics. She doesn't care about sigils or who is king. She just looks at it and says, blood and fire, boy, and nothing sweet.
Chilling.
It's the most honest interpretation in the entire book. She's not trying to spin it for a king. She's just telling you the nature of the thing she sees. It's red, so it means blood. It's fire, so it means burning. Simple as that.
And Bran. Poor Bran looks at it and he calls it the red sword.
Oh, that is such a heartbreaking moment.
It really is.
He says it looks like ice, his father's great sword. But not just ice, when it's still wet with Ned's blood. It just shows you how trauma shapes perception. Bran can't see a celestial event without reliving his father's execution. The sky itself is now traumatizing him.
And if we move over to the Riverlands where the war is actually happening, it's pretty similar. The great John Umber sees a flag of vengeance for Ned.
Of course he does. That's pure Grey Joan.
But Edmure Tully, who is always so optimistic, he looks at the tail of the comet and he sees a fish.
The Tully sigil. He actually thinks it's a sign of victory for Riverrun. Edmure he wants so badly to believe that the universe is on his side.
But his uncle, the Blackfish, he shuts that down fast.
The Blackfish is a pure realist.
Mm-hmm.
He looks at Catelyn and he tells her, that's blood up there, smeared across the sky. He knows that war doesn't have winners in the way Edmure thinks it does.
It just has blood.
It just has blood. He's warning them not to go looking for happy omens in the middle of a slaughter.
And finally, way up at the wall, the Night's Watch. What do they call it?
They call it Mormont's torch.
Which is fitting and kind of necessary, right?
It's totally necessary. They are about to march into the absolute darkness of the haunted forest. They need to believe that something is lighting their way, even if it is a bloody comet. It's a coping mechanism for men who are literally marching into the dark.
Okay, so let's zoom back in on Dragonstone. We mentioned Stannis, but we really need to get into this guy. The text describes him as iron, hard, brittle, unyielding, and he is just so angry.
Stannis Baratheon is a man defined by his grievances. He's a man who keeps a mental ledger of every single slight he has ever endured, real or perceived. He feels like he's been cheated his entire life.
Starting with Storm's End.
Absolutely. He held Storm's End for his brother Robert during the war, starving, eating rats to survive, while Robert was getting all the glory at the Trident. And what was his reward for that loyalty?
A rock. A smoking rock.
Exactly. Robert gave Storm's End the ancestral seat of their house, rich with lands and income and loyal banners, to Renly, the baby brother who did nothing. And Stannis got Dragonstone.
Which Crescent calls a smoking rock in the Great Salt Sea. Why do you think Robert did that?
Well, you could argue that, strategically, Stannis was needed to hold the old Targaryen seat, to root out the last of them. But Stannis took it as a profound personal insult, and he's been grinding his teeth about it ever since.
And now Robert is dead. Joffrey is, in Stannis' mind, a product of incest and an abomination. Renly is his younger brother. By all the laws of Westeros, the throne is his.
It's a mathematical fact to him. It's not a question. It is his right. But, and this is the central conflict for his character, he lacks the love of the lords.
And he knows it. That line, "They do not love me," it's almost sad. You almost feel for him. He knows Renly has all the charisma, all the friends, all the men. Stannis just has the right.
And that desperation, that knowledge that he can't win a popularity contest, that he can't win a conventional war, that creates the vacuum that Melisandre then fills.
The Red Woman, she's genuinely terrifying in these opening chapters. We get this introduction to a religion that feels so different from the Seven or the Old Gods.
It's militant. It's active. It's a religion of extremes. Light and dark, good and evil, fire and ice. She's completely converted Lady Selyse to the worship of R'hllor, the Lord of Light.
And her mantra, "The night is dark and full of terrors," isn't just a catchphrase, is it?
Not at all. It's a worldview. It's a sales pitch. It implies that you need her God for protection. And Stannis is pragmatic. He doesn't seem to be a true believer, at least not yet.
He calls her God, your God, when he talks to his wife.
Yes. He keeps that distance, but he needs her. He needs what she can offer.
Because she promises him power. She promises him a way to win without the armies he doesn't have. Swords, as he puts it.
Precisely. Stannis is a man of duty, a man of law, but he's also a man who will use any tool to get what is owed to him. And if that tool is a red priestess and a foreign god that demands people be burned alive, so be it.
And this leads directly to the tragedy of Maester Cresson. We have to sit with this moment because it's like it's the death of the rational world in this story.
It really is.
Cresson is 80 years old. He practically raised Stannis. He loves him like a son.
It's the classic conflict between the surrogate father and the new mistress, in a way. Cresson sees Melisandre as a poison in the court. He sees her whispering in Stannis' ear, turning him against his loyal lords, turning him toward this dark magic.
He represents the Citadel, the Maesters, the logic that has ruled Westeros for centuries.
And he decides he has to save Stannis from her, even if it costs him his own soul. He decides to assassinate her.
Using the Strangler, a poison.
Crystallized poison. It's a complete suicide mission. He puts the poison into a cup of wine during a feast. The way he does it is just heartbreaking. He drinks from it first. He offers to share a cup with her as a sign of reconciliation.
He's trying to put her at ease, to show it's safe. He's willing to die just to take her with him. It's this incredible act of selfless, desperate sacrifice.
But then it all goes wrong. Or rather, it goes weird.
It goes supernatural.
Completely defies explanation by natural laws. And this is the key Melisandre knows. She sees it. She looks at him. She sees what he's doing. She even gives him a chance to back out. She says, "It is not too late to spill the wine, Maester."
She isn't afraid. That's the scariest part. She knows he's trying to kill her, and she is perfectly calm.
She drinks the poison. She drains the entire cup, leaving just the dregs for him. And the text makes a point of mentioning the ruby at her throat, how it glows, how it pulses with a faint light.
And she should be dead. That much poison would kill an ox. But she is completely, totally unharmed.
Wow, Cresson.
Cresson drinks the tiny bit left in the cup, the dregs, and he dies almost instantly.
It's horrifying.
Yeah?
He collapses, bleeding from his mouth and nose, while she just stands over him. And that moment establishes Melisandre immediately. She's not a charlatan. She's not a trickster with smoke and mirrors.
She is a genuine magical threat.
She has a power that the Maesters cannot understand and cannot fight. And with Cresson's death, Stannis is now insulated from the one voice of reason and, really, of love that he had left. He is alone with the Red Woman.
It sets the tone perfectly for the whole book. The old world is dying, and something much weirder is taking its place. Now let's leave the gloom and doom of Dragonstone and head to the Snake Pit, King's Landing.
The Lion's Den.
Joffrey's reign is, well, it's exactly what you'd expect, isn't it? A complete nightmare. We open on his name day tourney. And compared to the tourneys we saw in the first book, this is just pathetic.
It's a total farce. The Hound calls it a tournament of gnats. It has to be held inside the castle walls because the city is too dangerous. There are riots over food just outside the gates.
Then there are no great knights. It's just squires and sellswords and bullies.
It perfectly reflects the degradation of the realm under his rule. But it also highlights Joffrey's specific brand of cruelty. He's bored.
He's bored with the jousting, but he gets really excited about the violence. The way he treats Sansa is horrific. He has the Kingsguard beat her in front of the whole court. But the moment that really stood out to me was with Ser Dantos.
Ser Dantos the Red. He shows up to the joust completely drunk. So drunk he can't even get on his horse. He's stumbling around naked except for his breastplate. It's just a pathetic sight.
A normal king might laugh or strip him of his knighthood, something like that.
But Joffrey orders a cask of wine to drown him in. Publicly. He wants to watch a man die a horrible death because he messed up the entertainment schedule.
And this is where Sansa surprises us again. She saves him.
She does. She speaks up. And notice how she does it. She realizes immediately that she can't appeal to Joffrey's mercy because he has none. She can't appeal to justice.
So she manipulates him.
Perfectly. She says it's bad luck to kill a man on your name day.
Yeah.
She plays into his superstition and his massive ego.
And the Hound backs her up. That was a surprise.
That's such a key detail. Sandor Clegane, who usually just mocks everything and everyone, he steps in. He says, "What a man sows on his name day, he reaps throughout the year." Between the two of them, they trick Joffrey into sparing Dantos and making him a court fool instead.
It shows that Sansa is learning how to navigate this monster. She's learning that to survive Joffrey, you can't reason with him, you have to trick him.
But the real shift, the real change in King's Landing, comes with the arrival of Tyrion.
The imp arrives, and the contrast is immediate and stunning. Joffrey creates chaos. Tyrion brings order, or at least calculated control.
He walks into that small council chamber and just immediately asserts dominance.
I love that moment. He walks in, Cersei is furious, the council is stunned, and Tyrion just climbs right up into the hand's chair. He physically puts himself at the head of the table.
And he immediately starts identifying the players. He sizes up Janos Slynt, the commander of the City Watch, as this jumped-up, corrupt toad. He immediately gets into it with Cersei. There's that brilliant scene where they're trading barbs.
And she slaps him repeatedly.
She slaps him, and he just takes it, and then he jokes about it. If you keep doing that, our hands will be the same color. But then he reveals his trump card. He knows her secrets.
He knows about Jaime.
He knows about the incest. He knows the truth about Joffrey, and he uses that to establish that they are stuck together. We are the Lannisters. We have enemies everywhere. We have to do this together.
But he also does something very significant, I think, for the listener's understanding of his morality. He sees the heads on the spikes, the heads of the traitors, Ned Stark's people, put there by Joffrey.
One is for Robb Stark. Joffrey says he's saving a spike for Robb.
And Tyrion orders them taken down.
Immediately. He tells the captain of the guard to give them to the Silent Sisters for proper burial. He says, even in the midst of war, certain decencies must be observed.
It's a great moment, but let's play devil's advocate here. Is Tyrion doing this out of the kindness of his heart? Or is this just good PR? Is he just trying to stop a riot?
Well, it's absolutely calculated. But that's the beauty of Tyrion. He manages to align being a decent human being with smart political survival. Joffrey thinks power is terror. Tyrion understands that real power is stability.
And leaving rotting heads on the walls while the city starves is not stability.
Not at all. It's an invitation for a revolution. So he's being humane, yes, but he's also being a very, very smart politician.
And amidst all this political maneuvering, we have the game within the game. Varys' riddle. This feels like the thesis statement for the entire series.
It is one of the most philosophical moments in the entire text. Varys poses this riddle to Tyrion. In a room sit three great men, a king, a priest, and a rich man with his gold. Between them stands a sellsword, a common man with a sword. Each of the great ones bids him slay the other two. Who lives and who dies?
Who lives and who dies? It's such a fundamental question of where power truly resides. Is it the king's authority, the god's decree represented by the priest, or is it the money?
Or is the sellsword, the one holding this deal?
I mean, it's the sellsword, right? Physically, he's the only one with a weapon. He could just kill the other three and take the gold.
That's the surface answer. But Varys pushes back. If that's true, why don't sellswords rule the world? Why do they take orders from pieces of paper signed by kings or listen to old men in robes? Why hasn't Bronn just killed Tyrion and taken all his money?
Because they believe they have to. Because of the system. Because of tradition.
Exactly. Power is a shadow on the wall. It exists only because the sellsword believes the king has power, or he believes the priest can damn his soul, or he believes the rich man's gold has value. Varys is deconstructing the entire social contract right in front of us. Power is a trick. It resides where men believe it resides.
And in a city on the brink of collapse, that belief is fading, that shadow is flickering.
Which is terrifying when you apply it to Joffrey. If people stop believing he's the king, he's just a bratty kid with a crown. And Tyrion knows that.
Tyrion also has a huge vulnerability, though, which he brings with him, Shae.
He smuggles Shae into the city against his father Tywin's direct, explicit orders. This is his blind spot. He craves affection. He craves that genuine connection, even if he has to pay for it.
And Varys knows about her almost immediately.
Of course he does. It's a dangerous loose end. It shows that even the smartest player in the game has a weakness, a vulnerability that could be exploited.
Okay, let's move north to the king in the north, Robb Stark.
Robb has transformed. When we last saw him, he was a boy leading an army south to save his father. Now Catelyn observes him, and he's wearing a crown.
A crown of bronze and iron, the metals of winter.
It's a powerful image. He's no longer just a boy playing at war. He's a king. He's accepted the mantle.
And he's using that image, that mythos, the scene with Sir Cleos Frey. Cleos is a Lannister cousin, a captive who's being sent back with terms, and Robb has his direwolf, Grey Wind, right there in the hall with him.
It's pure theatricality, but it's so effective. He uses Grey Wind to intimidate the prisoner. The wolf just sniffs Sir Cleos, and the man is absolutely terrified. Robb is reinforcing the myth of the Starks, that they are different, that they are wargs, that they are connected to these ancient savage beasts. It's psychological warfare. He wants the Lannisters to be afraid of the Wolf's King.
And he sends terms of peace to Cersei. And they are, well, they're not really peace terms. They're terms of surrender for the Lannisters.
They are terms for a victory, not a negotiation. Independence for the North and the Riverlands, the return of Sansa and Arya, who he believes are both alive, the return of Ned Stark's bones and the Great Sword Ice, and various hostage exchanges.
He wants independence. That's the big one. He's not asking for concessions. He's trying to carve a hole in the Seven Kingdoms.
Exactly, he's breaking the map. But Catelyn is there, and she sees the cracks in this plan. She's the voice of caution. She knows they can't just trade the Kingslayer Jaime Lannister for the girls. Because the Lord's men, like Rickard Karstark, the Greyjohn, they would never accept giving up their prized prisoner just to get 2 girls back. But she also knows that without that trade, the girls might never come home. She's trapped.
And there's a lot of internal tension in the Stark-Tully camp. It's not just one big, happy army of Northerners.
Massive tension. Edmure Tully, Catelyn's brother and the Lord of Riverrun, represents the traditional view of war. He wants to defend every inch of his borders. He wants to fight every Lannister raiding party he sees.
But the Blackfish and Robb know that Tywin Lannister is just sitting at Harrenhal waiting for them to do exactly that.
He's baiting a trap. Tywin wants them to attack him in a fortified position. Robb knows he needs patience, he needs to be strategic, but Edmure just wants glory for his house.
And then there's the Rickard Karstark problem.
Karstark lost 2 of his sons in the Whispering Wood. They were killed by Jaime Lannister. He doesn't want peace. He doesn't want a hostage exchange. He wants vengeance. He wants to kill Jaime Lannister. This is the trouble with a coalition of proud, fierce Northmen. They are a powerful weapon, but they were very, very hard to control.
And then we get to the decision regarding Theon Greyjoy. This feels like the moment where everything pivots.
This is a pivotal, catastrophic error.
Catelyn strongly advises against sending Theon to the Iron Islands to treat with his father. She knows Balon Greyjoy. She knows he's ambitious, cruel, and untrustworthy. But Robb overrules her.
Why does he do it? Robb is smart. He's won every battle. Why does he make this mistake?
Because he trusts Theon. He grew up with him. He thinks of him as a brother, not as a hostage. And he thinks that by offering Balon a crown kingship of the Iron Islands, he can buy his fleet.
It's a young man's calculation. It's idealistic. He thinks generosity and friendship will work.
And Catelyn fears, rightly, that Balon will just see it as weakness. Balon doesn't want a crown given to him by a Stark boy. He wants to take it with fire and steel.
Catelyn's grief in these chapters is just palpable. She goes to visit her dying father, Hoster Tully. It's just loss after loss after loss for her.
It is. Hoster is drifting in and out of delirium from milk of the poppy. Catelyn is mourning Ned. She's terrified for her daughters. She's watching her son carry the crushing weight of a crown, and now she's watching her father die. The Blackfish has to tell her the grim reality of the war, that the Lannisters are burning the Riverlands to the ground just to provoke them.
It's a strategy of pure terror. Gregor Clegane, the Mountain, is out there just annihilating villagers. It's a heavy, heavy atmosphere in that camp.
Okay, let's shift gears to the scattered wolves. Arya, she's on the King's Road, pretending to be a boy named Aery.
Arya's Odyssey has begun. But let's be very clear. This is not a fun adventure story. She's with Yoren, the Night's Watch recruiter, and his group of orphans and criminals. And the description of the road is brutal.
It's a graveyard.
It really is. She sees fresh graves every single day. She sees refugees streaming south while she heads north. She sees a woman clutching her dead child. It's the small folk perspective on the war, and it is relentlessly ugly.
And she's getting bullied by the other orphan boys, Lummy and Hot Pie.
Until she finally snaps and beats Hot Pie senseless with a wooden sword, she channels Syrio Forel, calm as still water. She asserts herself, but she also finds a protector in Gendry the Bull.
And then the Gold Cloaks show up, but they aren't looking for Arya, are they?
No, which is the big twist. They are looking for Gendry. He's Robert's bastard, though he has no idea. The Queen wants all of Robert's bastards dead to secure Joffrey's claim to the throne.
And Yoren stands them down in this fantastic, tense scene. I got me 30, he says. He threatens to kill the Gold Cloak officer and all his men.
It saves Gendry, for now, but it puts a huge target on their backs. They are now officially fugitives.
We have to talk about the prisoner wagon. There are 3 men in chains in the back. Yoren keeps them separate from everyone else.
The 3 monsters. Rorge, who has no nose, just a hole in his face. Biter, who is enormous, files his teeth to points and just hisses and growls instead of talking. And Jaqen H'ghar.
Jaqen is so fascinating. He's polite. He speaks in that weird third-person way. A man has a thirst.
He's charismatic, but so obviously dangerous. Jordan keeps them chained for a very good reason. But Arya Arya isn't afraid of them in the way a normal child should be. She interacts with them. She gets close to the wagon.
This sets up a dynamic that is going to be incredibly crucial later on. She is dancing with death, literally and figuratively.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, back at Winterfell, Bran is ruling, or at least he's trying to.
Bran is in this terrible position. He's paralyzed, broken in body, but his mind is expanding in ways he can't control. He's having the wolf dreams.
He's entering summer, his dire wolf.
He tastes the blood of the kill. He feels the freedom of running on 4 legs. And then he wakes up to his crippled reality. It's this massive, jarring psychological split. He starts to prefer the dream to the reality.
And on top of all that, he has to deal with the Freys, Little Walder and Big Walder. They're wards at Winterfell now.
These 2 kids are a perfect microcosm of the political instability of the realm. They play a game called Lord of the Crossing.
I wanted to ask about that. It's just a game, right? But it feels so sinister.
The mechanics of this game are actually terrifying if you apply them to politics. The rule is you can lie, you can break your oath, you can cheat, as long as you slip the word mayhaps into the sentence without the other person noticing.
It's weaponized fine print.
Exactly. I swear I won't push you into the water, mayhaps, and then they push you. Seeing the Frey wards play this at Winterfell, it's not just child's play, it's a cultural indoctrination. They're training to be treacherous. They're practicing how to betray people while technically staying within the rules. It foreshadows everything we come to know about House Frey.
And while this is going on, Osha is affirming Bran's magic. Maester Luwin tries to medicate Bran to stop the dreams.
Luwin thinks the dreams are a symptom of his injury, of his grief. He wants to sedate him. He represents that denial of magic again. But Osha, the wildling, she tells Bran the gods are trying to talk back. She validates his connection to the old gods. She sees that the magic is real, and she encourages him to listen.
Finally, we go to the edge of the world. The Wall. Jon Snow.
The preparations for the Great Ranging are underway. Lord Commander Mormont is taking a massive force north of the Wall. He's tired of waiting to be attacked. He wants to find Benjen Stark and figure out what Mance Rayder and the wildlings are up to.
And Samwell Tarly. Poor Sam. He is panicking.
Sam is terrified. He's physically unsuited for this. He knows he can't fight. He can barely ride a horse. But Jon and Mormont both value his mind. They need him for the maps, for the histories, for the ravens. It's a great example of how the Night's Watch finds a use for everyone. Even a self-proclaimed coward who can read is valuable in the apocalypse.
But the big reveal here, and this is one of my favorite moments in the entire series, is about Maester Aemon.
This blew my mind when I first read it. It's such an incredible piece of world building.
Jon is just talking to this frail, blind old man who serves the Night's Watch, and he learns that Maester Aemon is actually Aemon Targaryen. He is the uncle of the Mad King. He could have been king.
He refused the throne.
He did. The Great Council offered him the crown, but he had sworn his vows as a maester. He refused to break them. So the crown passed to his younger brother, Aegon the Unlikely.
And Mormont uses this story to challenge Jon. Why bring this up right at this moment?
It's a direct, pointed parallel. Mormont tells Jon, Aemon refused a crown. Your brother Robb is now a king. You will serve. Robb will rule. Tell me that none of this troubles you.
He's testing Jon's loyalty. He knows Jon wanted to run south. He knows Jon is jealous and angry and feels useless at the Wall.
Think about the weight of that for a second. You're Jon Snow. You want to run south and fight for your family. And here is this blind ancient man telling you, I could have been the Dragon King. I could have ruled the entire world, and I chose to stay here and freeze instead.
It completely reframes Jon's entire struggle.
It tells him that duty isn't just about doing what you're told. It's about sacrificing the person you could have been for the person you have to be.
Exactly. Aemon killed the boy to let the man of the Night's Watch be born, and now he's asking Jon to do the same thing. And Jon's answer is perfect. I am troubled, and I keep my vows. It's the defining moment for Jon's integrity. He chooses his duty over his blood, just like Aemon did.
So let's synthesize all this. The board is set. We have 4 kings discussed. Joffrey, Robb, Stannis, Renly, plus Balon Greyjoy just looming in the background, about to make his move.
The board is absolutely set. The Lannisters are isolated in King's Landing, surrounded by enemies on all sides, but Tyrion is there, trying to consolidate power and control the chaos.
The Starks are winning battles, but they're facing internal division and some pretty serious strategic disagreements.
And Stannis has magic, but no men. Renly has men, but is completely unproven as a commander or a king.
And the magic is just creeping back in everywhere. It's like the background radiation of the whole story is getting stronger.
It's not subtle anymore.
Yeah.
Not at all. You have the comet. You have the dire wolves sensing war and death from hundreds of miles away. You have Melisandre surviving poison. You have Bran's wolf dreams. You have the dead walking that Mormont is so worried about. The rational world of maesters and politics is being eroded day by day by the supernatural.
And that brings us right back to Varys' riddle. In a room with a king, a priest, and a rich man, the sellsword holds the power.
And as the armies march, you have to ask yourself, who is the sellsword in this scenario? Is it the armies themselves, the common soldiers? Or is it the unpredictable elements, the wild cards?
Is it Arya with her prayer list? Is it Jon in the haunted forest? Is it the comet itself influencing everyone's decisions?
The story is telling us that the people sitting on the thrones, the kings, the priests, the rich men, they might not be the ones driving the car anymore. Something else is starting to take the wheel.
That is the question. And I want to leave you, the listener, with this thought. If you had to bet your life on one of these kings right now, based on just these opening moves we've discussed, who would you back? The cruel boy king on the Iron Throne, the young wolf in the north, the rigid iron stag on Dragonstone, or the charismatic brother with the big army and the peach?
Choose wisely, because in the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. We'll see you next time.